Oh,
I ain't never
my
seen
gas?
no white woman. I ain't never seen no white woman with a gap. Come to think of it.
The Dipman is live.
You wanted to.
You need to also watch out for perverse incentives where they like get the work done slow because they know that if they get the work done slow, then they'll get that like 1.5 times overtime later.
Yeah, 100%. But that's why you have productivity measurements.
Yeah, what would you call
by
those,
results?
like fuckers that like float around, like process optimizers?
Process optimizers don't really like float around. They kind of like exist and they come around and be like, hey, why is the machine broken?
Right, but they report directly to management and they move.
It depends.
Okay, right. Okay. I'm not going to tell you how process optimizers work, obviously.
They do that afterwards, after the problem is fixed, or if they like reach an impasse where it's, hey, a financial problem, I figured out what your issue is, and this is what the fix is. There is no other path that I can find personally, and it's going to cost you this much. And if bro says go ahead, or if you have like that thing where it's, hey, I trust that you're so good at like doing this thing, so I'm just going to give you access to the funding and you fix it anyhow, okay? But that depends on like your level of performance and their level of trust in your performance.
We're gotta find the good ones, as we were discussing earlier.
I just love to work. Like, if I'm not like doinking around on spaces, I'm just working. Like, that's it. Or I'm watching my kids. Like, nothing else gives me any pleasure, pretty much, at this point. And it's like, yeah.
Your Eminem said something in that chat. Check this out. I should make like another, like I should probably make even more alt accounts. Just kidding. That would get chaotic.
I have so many because
I'm like these so many people at once. I like wanted to say that to this one guy, but it's like, hey, you know I have an alt-right, you know you love me, but you don't know it because you're talking to my alt, and we love each other so much. You're just in love with the ARG, not me.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
You're in love with the movie.
You can't be like, oh, you know I have an alt-right. An alt-right what?
Nah.
How do we get back out as
There's no caution on that front. Mm-hmm.
How do we get back out as alt account?
I don't know.
Justice for alt account.
You don't.
He might be cooked.
The problem is you don't.
Where?
There needs to be more support.
I did have a dream where you were running an alt account and I was one of the big meme pages on X.
At this current trajectory, that might happen. Was it my existing one?
No.
Could you tell me what it was in DMs? What was the name?
I don't remember the name, but if I explain to you the profile picture, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay, save it for later then.
Wasn't one of those dumbass milady things. Sorry, I'm not into that shit.
Actually, that one's a Romelio.
Whatever it is.
It's a beautiful thing. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about that or Detroit, any of those things.
Hey, leave Detroit out of this.
Leave the good old Detroit out of this, please.
Have you never seen that meme page?
No.
No, I have not. No.
Wow.
I've never followed meme pages. I've never done that, and I don't really do that. I probably follow on X, like maybe 1 or 2 of them, but they're like very specific, and I just do it more so for the signaling than I actually do think the memes are good. I'm just built different, I believe.
I made one meme in the past 5 years.
I constantly make memes. I just don't post them.
Yeah.
Because if I do that, it's like, yeah.
Is it
Well,
true?
like,
I've like tried to practice it, and I haven't made much progress. It's like really difficult to like. Look, I'm gonna sound like an ass licker, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But it's really difficult to like compress something down into an image and like have it hit, like have it like trigger the pleasure sensor in people's brains when they see it.
Right, and then for it to endure and sort of iterate and like 4chan.
It's easy for me.
4chan is really good with that kind of like iterating on.
They're able to take the text and like put it at the bottom as opposed to like on the image or at the top, and it's like the communication and someone's realization that really sells it.
Yeah.
They make like upside down memes.
Right.
Well, what were you guys
Inverted
using to make your memes? Because I was using I don't know, some Chrome.
I use my brain.
Yeah, no shit. What
And then I,
app
like-
just run on the image?
I use my brain, and then I like just go in my little phone photo editor thing that's like comes default, and just fuck around and make things
Android
work.
though, right?
I use the image
Android,
filter
yes.
website. It works pretty well.
No, it doesn't matter if I like use an Android photo editor. There's no OPSEC on that. It's like, oh hey, figure out how to use it as well as I do. Good luck.
The Galaxy photo.
By the time you do that, you'll realize that your brain is so twisted, but you'll love it.
Yeah.
Wait a second. If we say what OS we are using, are we losing out on OPSEC? I mean, let's say.
No, not really, because I'm not using that at the moment. For stuff where I create media, I like use a different thing sometimes. Like it's.
Yeah. Of course, I'm on the same page. I'm challenging what Molson is saying, or I don't know. I don't know if he's joking.
What was your question?
It's both things he wants to like integrate but can't.
Oh no, I was just thinking, Molson. Like you said, revealing what OS we use. Is that a security threat? You think?
No, I was being facetious.
Right.
It depends on like what level of person you are. I could see it. Like, what was the name of that Pegasus software that got installed on everyone's phones?
That fucks everyone actually, so it's not exclusively Android. Pegasus is like an everything thing. I don't understand why everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna choose a different operating system. It fucks you if you're not smart. Everything fucks you if you're not smart.
So it predominantly targeted only iPhones.
So it's kind of funny.
It does predominantly target iPhones, but it can be used on Android as well. It's just that most of the It's just that most of the people it targets use iPhone.
Yeah, because the privacy is really good.
Is it?
Mostly, yeah.
But also, richer people tend to use iPhones.
That is another aspect, yes. Because like, look, when you have an iPhone, you're not using that to like create media or things like that. Like, if you want to run an X account and like constantly like make shit and upload, download, and be fast about it, then using an iPhone doesn't make sense.
No.
But if you're just using it to interact with your software, do a bunch of things, send messages, be quick about it, be efficient about it, use an iPhone 100% of the time.
Are you saying that that Android is better for that purpose, like tweeting and?
No, the posting thing specifically, not as much, except like editing it's a little bit easier. I think text editing is a little bit easier on like Android, but whereas like for instance, using the functions of the app itself is much easier and much better to do on an iPhone than it is on an Android.
Like,
I would say it depends on.
You get access to more features.
But I assume you guys are talking about flagship Androids. I would say it depends.
Well, with the Samsung Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, I love.
Yeah, flagship Androids they're really good. If you have like lower versions, and you're like, you don't want that. Trust me.
Like, I love how you can just like select a bunch of images and then create a GIF like on the spot. Like,
Yes.
I did some incredible stuff with that. Like,
This was Android,
like-
or this was with an app?
yeah, just my Android 21, I think I had. And
Yeah, I
was
couldn't
just,
find
like,
anything good with the iPhone.
No, I mean iPhone is like, yeah, dude. I'm pretty bummed. Like, I switched over about a year ago and kind of regret it. But I'm fine either way. Like, I can still make GIFs, but it's not. It's.
I would say just do both. Really, it depends on what you're into. But
Yeah.
if I want to like chat with people and like use apps, then the iPhone is actually pretty damn good.
Well,
Actually, Apple technology in general is like pretty
I
good.
found a Galaxy 9 lying around, so
Jesus.
I actually use that to write sometimes. Yeah, I just got a word processor today, actually.
I don't know if it's going to
Which
get
is
banned
like-
from the App Store, but that CapCut app was just fantastic.
Oh yeah, CapCut is I mean it's basically the same shit as TikTok, but with a lot more effects, and it's perfect for video editing. Like that was kind of like that was like missing, like
So
10 years to
TikTok's
get
ownership is changing, right? So I think the 50% ownership is going to go to US companies, but then for CapCut, I think it will still be owned by ByteDance, if I'm not wrong.
Both apps got banned. I think the focus is TikTok. I don't.
Whoa, wait, you're saying CapCut got banned?
CapCut did. It got
Yeah, of
kicked
course.
out of the
No.
Because it's like pass.
Damn.
Because it's part of ByteDance.
TikTok
So-
was already
What if
banned
I
in
still
India.
have it on my phone?
Yes. Even though a lot of Indians use it, so it's like, okay, cool. That didn't really change much, did it?
Well, I heard that Instagram Reels kind of like owns the Indian market, and like VPNs do make it possible to use that shit. I don't know how good India's
Who
firewall.
told you that Instagram Reels rule the market?
I don't know. I think I read that.
But like from where?
I don't know. X. Are you familiar with that app?
Yes, I am, but like if somebody's giving you the fucking LinkedIn thread on X.com and people don't have the proper cognitive security to realize it's a LinkedIn thread and they just like click bookmark on it so that they amplify it in the system, then that's like an issue.
I don't know. Ask
You're their side.
Siraj, are like what's bigger in India, TikTok or Instagram Reels? Or I'll research it.
I have no idea. I know TikTok is banned in India because I suppose
Yeah, but people still use it though.
VPN.
maybe, yeah, with the VPN perhaps.
Well, tensions between
Yeah.
China and India are at a pretty high point right now.
Uh-huh.
They've got conflict over water resources. India has been taking a very pro-Israel stance with respect to Gaza. China has just said the opposite. It's interesting.
Is Tesla going to do a deal with Modi?
I find it exceedingly unlikely, but who knows, that might change. From my perspective, it's considered to be exceedingly unlikely and not necessarily the smartest move. But if, say, certain things were to change, then
The China
In
move,
my
I think, was a very
experience-
bad move.
yeah. Like it could happen. It could happen. I think the India thing could definitely. It's unlikely with the current setup. But if that setup were to change in very specific ways that I don't feel the need to mention, then yeah, I think that could happen. It just depends on like which things change in reality and which path we're going.
In my
with that.
experience, Indians culturally really enjoy long negotiations where they repeatedly negotiate the same things like over and over again, and maybe that's just like part of the process.
There there's a deeper problem there, actually, but yeah.
The Indian
Like
government,
those, like Tata and all those guys.
based on what I've heard,
No, the Indian government.
based on what I've heard
But
from based on what I've heard from people that work in the manufacturing sector, the Indian government is by far the most incompetent government they've had to deal with.
it's not just a question of competence. It's also like corruption. I'm sure.
That literally is the definition of competence. Like,
I mean,
the less competent you are, the more corruption you have, because you really don't have the skill that is needed to have that position that you have right now, and you're greedy, so you decide, I need more money, and then you take the bribe money and be like, yep, what, let's go.
Think about it like this. Vietnam has like what, a tenth of the population of India. There's way more companies that are going to go to Vietnam for manufacturing, right? What was the whole reason that companies went to China? It was that it had a lot of people working for cheap. India, as of now, you can pay workers for half the wage, and still companies don't want to do it.
Well, there are a whole bunch of reasons why India sucks at manufacturing. And it's not just government competence.
It's also the infrastructure, but that goes into government incompetence.
It also...
Because nobody can improve the infrastructure because it's like dominated.
Look, I've spoken... Chinese people also work really hard. That's another factor.
Okay, and then?
Well, that's a key ingredient in labor efficiency. Indian labor efficiency is much lower. Indian software development is pretty strong. They excel in a bunch of things, but the technology, the science, technology, engineering stuff, they aren't as strong as China, and that's a major factor when you're bringing manufacturing to someplace. There's a whole bunch of factors.
One of the problems as
it's not
well
just
is
licensing and corruption.
They also put tariffs on everything in India for the reason that they're like, oh, we're a developing country. We need to protect our manufacturing base. What manufacturing base? You don't have shit.
Well,
one of the primary problems that they have is the metal. Have you ever worked with Indian steel before? Holy shit, it's very bad.
Right.
Chinese steel is really good because it's what the Chinese did when the Germans decided, hey, we're gonna fuck ourselves. They decided to sell their manufacturing plants, and so the Chinese came over, steel manufacturing plants. They took apart those manufacturing plants, piece by piece, reassembled them in China, and then had the ability to make German steel. Or it was German steel at the time. German steel actually at the moment is a lot better now than it was before, even at that period, but it was still quite good to the point where people wanted it and still do want it, especially for high precision parts where reliability is a factor.
Solar Metal. So some Lakshmi Mittal, I don't know if he probably got government support, and he bought a European steel company, and I think they're one of the largest steel producers in the world. So despite being this weird Indian Euro hybrid, their steel still sucks.
Oh, and French steel also sucks, remarkably. French steel is fucking horrible. If you ever had the misfortune of being on a French ship and having to rely on the little steel components, those little levers where you have on the hatches, you pop that little thing out and then you pull it, fucking snaps every single fucking time. Piece of shit. It's a piece of fucking shit. Fuck French steel. And then it's stainless. They say it's stainless, and you know what it does? It rusts. So I'm hang on a minute. I thought it's not supposed to develop the thing that it's developing. Fucking stains.
What?
Oh yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
But why is that?
I've bought something that's supposed to be stainless steel, and it fucking rusts. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It stains. It's like stainless steel that stains. What?
Yeah, they can't come.
No.
They gotta come.
But the French are decently good at manufacturing. Why can't they make steel? They got Airbus. They got a bunch of
manufacturing what?
Airbus, car companies. They're pretty good when it comes to armament.
I don't want to drive a French
Yeah, I
vehicle
don't either.
ever.
Also, keep in mind that part of why France is semi-competent in manufacturing cars is because they had a deal with the Japanese companies.
Someone recently asked the question why there were no French luxury cars. It was kind of interesting because there are all the other French luxury goods.
Isn't there
car
one?
manufacturers?
Isn't there one? Which one am I thinking?
No, it's French.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is one.
They did come up with deformable bumpers though, because there's like this thing, and where the way they park is by pushing each other out of the way.
Maybe that was an accident. It's just their bad feel, and they're like,
No, literally, that's what they do. Like, I've seen a French person park, and I just I didn't know what to do
Bugatti
anymore.
was originally French.
but it was, I don't know. It wasn't like truly, and I think it got me somewhere.
We have to get like Andrew Tate to drive around his Bugatti with a bunch of baguettes for no reason now.
Croatian now, though. That's not
Awesome.
No, it's like we have to do the chicken meme where it's like remember your ancestors, but it's like Andrew Tate driving around with like a bunch of baguettes sticking out in his Bugatti.
Nice. But his ancestors are British and American, not French.
You don't understand the meme.
That's right, I don't.
Have to do the chicken meme where it's like remember your
Well, also him and his clan are saying the Tesla owners and the EV people are kind of gay because they are using it.
using what?
Electricity is gay, to be fair. It is kind of gay.
What? Well, how?
You don't know because you're in India, but yeah, electricity is gay. That's a joke. It's messing with you. No, electricity is not gay, but I mean, there is something kind of cool about a gas car, the sound it makes, the shake, and the engine.
You're like running a very fine line calling electricity gay there.
Oh, come on. Looking wild. Imagine getting gay.
Because that would have made you gay.
Electricity was gay.
No. You don't understand. If you said that electricity was gay, then you by definition are gay.
Yeah. Well, so are you. We're gay together.
Nah, I'm cut from a different cloth.
Okay, wow.
I'm cut from the exotic, non-gay electricity cloth. We believe in quantum mechanics, but we also don't. We just believe in it so that you believe in it because you think we believe in it.
I mean,
making
to
you
be
gay.
fair, the way we generate electricity is not that great. Like,
Any more silver?
oil,
Yes, people who do energy capture and generation do not understand planetary defense.
oil, water, spin thing. Now you have electricity. What the fuck?
That's base, man.
Yes. That one is actually not so bad. If anything, you're just doing heat to kinetic transfer, very simple.
Telling me we can't fucking literally just grab the energy out of it. We have to fucking boil water. What the fuck?
I mean, tell me how else you'd like to kinetically transfer things. Like, how are you going to do that? You have to transfer it somehow without using things without over-engineering. Like, there is a scaling issue. I've considered ways to, go past, especially, with radiation, and it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to actually boil it. The transfer method is not a problem. It's extremely efficient. That's not an issue whatsoever. You're just making things spin and just, keep dynamo maxing. It's fine. That's not a problem whatsoever.
Generate electricity
Fusion is where it gets really funny.
by making a really long copper wire, attaching it to the earth, and then having it just go through the earth's magnetic field. That seems kind of not gay.
Yeah, because it's not going to work.
Anything that doesn't work is not gay.
Okay. But no, seriously, energy generation, the reason why people don't understand it is because they don't understand planetary defense.
What does that mean?
It's like a thing where you consider all aspects of what planetary defense are, one of which is energy quality, which I discussed before on the space, where I explained you have a ranking of methods by which you could capture or generate energy, and you'd have the top ones be, it's because of energy, the quality of energy generation. So it's have nuclear and fusion at the top, and you have solar and hydro. They're kind of leveled because they're kind of work, together. That works. Then you have lower forms, coal, Actually, not even coal. You have because kind of like on par as well. Also, would be geothermal, but that has issues, but it's still good enough. It kind of like plays into what nuclear is to a certain extent by the way that it generates energy. Like the most efficient and like non-moving part type of thing where you consider energy capture would be solar, because you're not actually moving anything, and the only time you'd actually be moving anything at all is if you use water as a battery, as like a gravity-based battery. Yeah, bird vaporization, that's another thing, but that's not like solar power as it could be. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's like, oh, we're gonna take like the method of heating up water and like we're gonna do it this way. I specifically mean photovoltaic cells because the efficiency on that shit's higher anyways, and like the maintenance costs are much lower, and they can be recycled. Contrary to what people tell you, it's like, oh, solar cells cannot be recycled. Yeah, no, they actually can, and it's a massive fucking business. Nobody tells you that because nobody fucking knows. So, because they don't actually like solar, because solar actually works, and if people would actually realize how well it works, they would replace quite a lot of whatever it is being used, like whatever you're using to capture and generate energy. It's like, oh hey, let's feed coal more because we can like tear up the fucking planet to get at it, and we're gonna like use this, but not mine for the coal we actually need for better steel. So we're just gonna like waste our energy and like waste our effort on something that shouldn't exist in the first place. So you're stuck there doing nothing, you know? Instead of like doing something else like nuclear in those regions, or like, yeah. So anyways, back to the topic of what I wanted to address, which was ranking of energy by quality, where you'd have the top B, say, nuclear, fusion, solar, hydro, geothermal. Then you have like the hydrocarbon stuff, you know, coal, oil, probably like oil above coal because like coal is more invasive than oil, depending on what because imagine you create like space underground, and that's a problem. So there's some issues that could come from that, but that's besides the point. And logistics are also a bit of a thing when it comes to oil as well and coal. Like this, you have to move shit around literally, and you have to move quite a lot of shit around, which is why you have these things called pipelines. Which is ironic if you consider like, you know, how internet transfer would be. And then we have lower forms still. You'd have like wind energy, which is an absolute piece of garbage. You'd have stuff that's from an engineering perspective. I think if you consider tidal energy capture, that would be above you know, wind, because wind itself is not just complex from an engineering perspective, but it is a piece of shit, and it doesn't work properly, and it should not exist, and nobody should even suggest this. And if they do suggest this, I want them to pay for it with their own money, and they'll realize how dog shit that suggestion is, because with the same fucking financial requirements that it takes to erect one of those pieces of shit windmills, you could create an entire fucking solar farm that generates more than 10 of those things, depending on the size and the environment and what they're optimized for. Oh, and by the way, if you don't optimize your piece of shit wind energy things, then the wind is going to destroy them at some point, and then you're stuck there with a massive bill, no infrastructure solutions, and a piece of shit that destroys everything around it when it explodes. So good luck on that. By the way, the blades cannot be recycled, so why are we suggesting this? Is anybody with like a brain gonna tackle this and be like, yeah, no, let's not do that? Because this is horrible and it's stupid and it's shit and we're not going to do it and we shouldn't do it. Fuck that.
Why can't the blades be recycled, and what do you mean by fusion energy? Because it's my understanding that hasn't been commercialized at all.
It is still being developed, but once it works, and it will, then it will be extremely high quality. It does exist.
Right, it's like super small.
And it does work.
We don't use it at all.
Not really super small. Depends on like what you define as small exactly.
The sun is small.
Okay.
I apologize. You made me a little angry. Yeah, it's my understanding that.
See, poor cognitive security. I got under your skin, and now you're pissed at me. I'm making I told you you're a case study, so I made you the case study.
Look, I don't know what you're referring to there, but it's my understanding that.
You do know, you just don't realize it.
Great. Yeah, I don't know.
This is like the moment where people were like asking me if I thought I was a superior person, and then I told them I was like super smooth-brained. You know, it's the same thing. You just don't know how to defend against that, because what are you going to do? It's like the Fry Futurama thing, where the guy says, hey, worms, get out of my body, or I'm going to attack my own brain, and the worms are like, no living being would ever attack its own brain, and then he slices his neurons. You know, it's like that. No being would ever, like, you know, say that they're super smooth because their, like, image on the social platform would be compromised, except that this is what people would expect from me. It's like, hey, this guy's going to say something so out of pocket that is not actually fucked, that it fucks people over from the perspective of them not being able to understand or parse what it means, or like why that is a thing that exists.
The reality is that you go so deep down in your own like logical sequences that people can't even follow you, and it's like, what's even the point of saying it sometimes?
Oh, they definitely can. It's just the silence.
No, actually, it's really hard sometimes to follow you because you speak at like a rapid clip, and then you have like a long sequence of logical thoughts that sometimes need to be visualized to be understood, and it's challenging.
Not necessarily. You just need to like open your brain and be like, yes,
look, I'm
yes,
pretty
I
smart,
accept.
and a lot of the time I don't understand what the fuck you're saying. And so if I don't understand what the fuck you're saying,
Like just it's submissions, like submit.
Look, here's something I'll say that I think is useful to everybody. You can like beat me up or whatever it is that you're doing, and it just doesn't really bother me. And it's important to like get.
It bothers you enough that you were angry.
That's true. That's fair. But it's important to like figure out a way to allow yourself to be subjected to that because it's useful. And what I think of.
Yeah, I do it all the time, just not in this case. I don't feel a need to have to do that, which I don't. I'm actually smart enough to like move myself out of those areas.
If you're criticizing me, whatever, it's important for me to reflect on that and to seek out the truth in those criticisms so I can improve instead of being defensive. And that's a really important thing for everyone.
Yeah, but that's operation. That's like not operational. Sorry, it's that's the cognitive aspect. You're dealing with a lot of information that comes in. You have to like be silent in your head for it to like come in there and be like, hey, what is this guy actually trying to say?
Yes.
And then.
But the key point is that
Oh, hey, I'm having a communication.
You
And then
can't
blah, blah,
get
blah, blah, blah.
defensive, and whenever someone criticizes you, you have to look for the truth in that criticism. When someone praises you, you need to look for the lie in that. And that's a really good way to live in some ways. It's a good way to improve. It might make you a little crazy, though.
Reinforcement
What
learning.
is this?
Maybe, yeah.
What if you never had to learn?
I would take away the fun. So why can't the blades be recycled?
You can't take apart the materials in a manner that is efficient enough for there to be gain. It's
Okay,
like
but so
it's like when I say, let me pull out all of the fucking like whatever substance is in some sort of waste, but then processing that waste costs more than just getting
so
more
the
of the
reason why
substance.
you can recycle the solar panels is because they're small enough.
And there's many others.
To Asia. That's probably the reason.
No, they're simple enough to be taken apart to their
Why
basic
are the blades
elements,
so
and you can recycle all
complicated?
parts of it.
From the outside looking in, it looks like pretty straightforward.
Because otherwise they fall apart. They deal with insane amount of tension, and so they're constructed in a very complex way. That's why they're also way too expensive.
So maybe it's just bad design. Look, I'm not advocating that people invest like additional time.
No, it's not. It is. It is definitely bad design. That's why it doesn't. It cannot work. That's the problem. It like literally cannot work.
Why?
That's why this form of energy capture will always be bad design, because every design that's needed to somehow get capture will take so much effort that it's not worth. Like it's not worth the effort, because you don't get enough out of
Because
it.
they're better ways.
Like, firstly, it costs too much. Secondly, it's weak as shit. Thirdly, you don't get enough out of it, even at the standard. And it's like, okay, cool. And how are you going to do that wide scale? Absolutely not, because the moment you do, then you literally cause fucking the ecocide, because you're killing things in that general area, because it literally drives every life form with a brain insane.
Do you have an opinion on those weird, like, hybrid electric and gas vehicles that I think are called PHEVs?
Okay, say
Do
it
you have
again.
an opinion on those weird hybrid vehicles that are apparently getting...
Yeah, delete them.
Yeah, it's kind of...
You can't go half in, half out. It's like either you go full in ICE car or you go full in electric car. In between is a scam.
They are selling a crazy amount of them, though.
Yes, because people are retarded. And because their governments are equally as retarded, they're like the reflection of it. And so then they mandate certain climate policy bullshit so that they have to buy these things. And that's how that works out. Because they like try to fuck the engines with like emission standards, which is why like machines from China are really, really good. Because they don't have to deal with that. But you also can't use them in places where, you know, there are like these standards. Like European machinery fucks itself actually. Quite heavily because of this.
Government fucks the machinery.
Yeah, but that's still the same thing. Excuse me.
The government machinery fucks us all.
What if you are the machine? Sorry.
Coming out again.
I am a machine. You know, I am in fact a machine. But like, I have this thing that's called a soul.
Did your vibe check
and I use
for
it.
people, for talent, improve over time, or do you think that it was like something that was fixed from the beginning?
No, it definitely improves. I think it's more so like your ability to catch what your gut feeling is saying and rationalize it. Because the moment you do, it makes sense.
And would you say as you get older, you use that gut feeling more and more? Probably because you've like fed that.
No, I've always used the gut feeling. I've just not been able to use it properly. That's the problem. Because like you have this feeling, you don't understand why you have this feeling. That's an issue.
Yeah, but like when you're in your early 20s, it's like you're like an AI model that didn't have enough data fed into it yet. So is that gut feeling like
that is if you are dealing with that is if you are dealing with say average human.
Okay. Okay, fair.
Like I can put it down as like a proof of work thing and be more capable at virtually everything that isn't necessarily like an athletic task than many people who've earned their degrees in like some university that now has fucked them and enslaved them financially. I've like beat that curve first of all.
When you gotta carve out all the athletic tasks, you're like, I can do anything if it doesn't involve a ball.
Yeah, no, fuck athletic shit. Like, why should I waste my time doing something that stupid? It doesn't make any sense. Why should I expend my mental and physical energy doing something that literally is useless?
It's fun. It's healthy. It helps you get.
No, it's useless. It's not even healthy. It's like the opposite of healthy. Where it's like my athleticism is being able to do certain types of exercises, stay flexible, and keeping my bones from hurting. Because I like moving around because that's needed. But I'm not gonna like start competitive running or some shit. Even though I definitely could. It just isn't the thing that the body should be subjected to.
It depends on your dharma, I would think. It depends on who you are. A lot of people enjoy like team sports. A lot of people enjoy competition.
Yeah, my team sport is I'm gonna sit down with a bunch of people who are equally as insane or probably even more so in terms of their capabilities when it comes to say managing information and like solve problems and then walk away from that with results.
Yeah, well, look, some people like to tame a crazy book.
And besides, I think people should probably look into the future of the world being the earth is inherited by the meek. So, like, are you going to dispute that? Like, I don't know, man. It's been written, and so far, that path has been so consistent that it might just be the only path, and that path is true and remains true.
I wonder if that's because the strong will go to Mars.
Oh yeah, the strong will definitely go to Mars at some point, but they will also be very strong in the head, I think, most of all, because if you go there, and you don't have a certain discipline or capability, you are either A, going to not work out, as in you're not going to solve the problems that help you survive, or B, you're just going to go insane. And there's probably a secret third thing, but I don't want to like expend the mental energy at because I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't see it as necessary. Although, like, maybe I should. No, that is actually the solution to the insanity part. That should never exist. But, like, that already exists to an extent. Because water? You know what I mean?
Why is it that, like, you look at
Like, there's a lot of water in your shit, literally, so it's like, you know, and what do you think the people on the space station do? They don't flush as we think. It's like really, really capture, you know, and extract water from that captured substance that the human ejects. So technically it's all I'm thinking, but it's like you're not processing humans, you're processing it, their waste.
Adrian, do you use mental models? Like, do you use mnemonics, or how like, if you have idle time, like, how do you best use that time in order to make it productive and have productive thoughts that can be used to, like, improve one's life or the world's?
That's the fun part. I don't have idle time because I always find myself being able to do something. I'm never at a point where I have nothing to do, and if I am, it's like, okay, I have nothing to do, what do I do? And then I just find something that I could do until I have something that I have to continue doing, that I stop doing. Because, you know, say people aren't there, or like, you know, it's a fucking weekend, or like whatever.
But I get the impression that you're very selective about. I mean, you've said it yourself, right? You're like, I am very selective about how I use my time. And so, like, is there some sort of mnemonic or process by which you decide what to do? Like, what is the bottleneck that needs to be opened up? What is the thing that, like, most optimizes in my current situation?
I don't know, it just looked like whatever is gonna, like, give me the most gain, you know? Like, for whatever time I'm trading.
Yeah, but that says easy does hard. Is it just intuitive?
I guess. I mean, it just depends. Like, what's your situation? Okay, I have to cook my food at this time of the day, or like, okay, I could probably like clean up that thing and don't have to do it in 2 hours, or like, oh hey, I'm not going out to dinner with a bunch of people. What do I do with that? Oh, I guess I'm just gonna like fucking do a space or do some work. Or, like, I don't fucking know. It just depends.
When I watched Mark Andreessen explain how Elon like goes about solving problems, that like kind of improved my own thinking. Like, I don't know if it's correct or not, but he basically said that Elon was like seeking out the bottleneck, talking to the people who are directly responsible for that issue, solving it, and moving to the next thing. And he said that it was completely different from how other CEOs were running their companies. But I had read that book, The Goal, about bottlenecks, and I had kind of assumed that it only applied to manufacturing and stuff like that. And that, what Andreessen said, kind of like opened my mind to bottlenecks like being everywhere, from outside of manufacturing to other parts of the business to even my own life.
Like I said, it's just you see a problem that you can solve, or like that you haven't been solving, you solve it. I don't see there's no model for that. I just do it. Oh hey, I just got off the call. Let me write down the words. Write down the words first of all.
Okay, so let me ask a different question. So then what's your approach to really good cog stack? Because if you have bad cog stack, what you're describing doesn't work.
I don't reveal that, first of all. Everybody has to decide for themselves how to avoid certain situations that don't work well. Like somebody getting under your skin. The methods by which you prevent that from happening are up to you. It's like, I'm not going to tell somebody else how to do self-control. They gotta have to know how to self-control. I'm not going to tell somebody else when to make the bed. They're going to have to make that themselves.
But okay, fine. For whatever it's worth.
That's the first filter.
Is that something that as you age, you get more experience and hopefully you get better and better at it? I was just curious as to how...
Because as other people age, they'll try different ways to get under your skin, I suppose. Like, it just happens.
I mean, I think part of it is just that it kind of like with operational security, if you're talking about how you maintain your own cognitive security, you can give people hints as to how they can manipulate you by basically inversing whatever your cognitive strategies are. So it's better to maybe research for yourself and figure out what methods work for you. And then, it's just mostly about not, I mean, what I'll say is just like not believing things and not letting things like affect your beliefs without filtering through them first.
That makes sense.
Pretty general way to put it.
Yeah,
I can tell you what it looks like, but I can't tell you how to do it, because the do part is what you have to figure out.
yeah, I can add to that. You know, maybe having a small group of trusted friends can also help. So you can probably brainstorm certain ideas, certain thoughts, and then see how it goes. Because I think different perspectives absolutely help. And then again, reinforcement learning. At least that's something that I try to do.
What's reinforcement learning in a human context?
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, for me, I would say, getting feedback and then constantly trying to improve myself. Be it any domain,
Again, just like kind of practice makes perfect, and reiterate. Like, the reiteration thing is where it's difficult.
I've found in life that you can occasionally like discover techniques that will give you like a stepwise improvement that you won't necessarily discover just from reviewing your own mistakes. So you have to like read books, talk to people, and stuff like that. Ask questions.
What does this say? I love how like these leopards are just genuinely big fucking cats, and they're like tamed.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Big kitty cats. Don't be an asshole to your cats, or the cat will reflect what you are, and it always reflects what you are, if it's intelligent enough, at least. Hey, it's a kitty cat. No, it's not.
My cat is paranoid and hates people, so accurate.
Damn. I did a lot of walking,
Is it also cool?
and that cat would join me on those walks. So I had like a walking cat, like this pet that was unlocked that just follows me around everywhere.
Oh, that's my
Must
dog.
be a
That's my
model.
shadow. I just have a 90-pound beast that follows me everywhere.
Yep, that's how it works. Just don't be the person who owns a pit bull that can't control it or keep it in like a cage.
Oh no, she's under control. She's very friendly, honestly. Too friendly.
Because like the problem I see with a lot of them is like, hey, you're gonna start fucking with its instincts, where you like put a giant steak in front of it and you take this steak as it's eating it, and then it gets angry, and it's like, oh, what happens if I keep just pulling it?
Like, oh no, we're very good about food aggression training and stuff like that. She's a chill dog. The only time she'll be angry is if somebody shows up unexpected.
Nice. That's good.
She's also only half pit. She's half pit, half German Shepherd. So like, the German Shepherd half is very well behaved and routine oriented.
Very true. Adrian, you've killed my confidence here, but something that's like funny to do is you take someone who's like really, really sensitive talking about race, and then you start getting them talking about dog breeds. That's always fun.
Okay. So now what else?
They're like, yeah, but we're only half black, so we only get half.
Did you guys listen to the AI speech by Jerry Vance?
I did, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good. I was genuinely super impressed because I didn't expect a politician to be as good, updated with technology, you know.
Yeah, he's pretty cracked. And what's interesting about that is, like, hey, this guy probably has an alt account somewhere and just keeps in touch with, like, Teapot. You know, that's what people keep saying because he's, like, so in touch with that. And it's just the funniest thing ever. Like, he takes examples that otherwise would not make sense for a person like that. Like, he acts like a politician who would use X.com, but he acts as an X.com user being a politician. Like, very well read, knows how to, like, structure his arguments well, and drops some really good bombs out there. Like, he's an excellent VP, I think.
I mean, I also like the fact that he, you know, talks about AI opportunity over AI safety because, you know, honestly, being in security, I always hear about AI safety and I feel so tired. Like,
Yo,
everyone
Moshe,
is
I
talking
missed it.
about
What
this
was it
stuff
that you
and
wanted me
it's
to
boring.
comment on?
Yeah, AI opportunity sounds more exciting, you know.
I'm trying to, like, figure out what like the soundboard does.
I would like to
What does this
announce
do?
to the world that Adrian Bridgewater is my best friend for life.
Wait, who the hell said that?
I think that was alternate Adrian. Wow. He sounds just like
Jesus Christ.
who?
Yeah.
That was great though.
How to, like, not do that. Ah, there we go. I just, like, fucking around with my phone trying to understand what's happening. So it's like, hee hee hee. Like, using spaces like this is really good. It's, like, much easier. And it's actually fascinating to see how well it works. Whereas on, like, other operating systems, it's just actually, it doesn't make sense, and it's somewhat even it's not impossible, it's just unfeasible because you just can't see what's happening at all. It's like Android's, like the Android version of X.com is not a good user experience, in my opinion. Like, a very bad user experience.
Have you tried using the
What memes can I
PWA?
post?
Have you tried using the PWA? That's something I do, and I don't find it as intelligent.
Yeah, I do that, but then it's, like, too glitchy for me
You
still.
also can't host spaces on PWA.
Yep. I mean, maybe, actually, hang on, let me... No, I'd have to go the other... No, I'm not gonna fuck with that at the moment. I don't feel like it. Wait, what is this? Picard is like, fuck it, we orb. That is great. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
One of your subscribers made that one.
That is so good. That is genuinely amazing. Wow.
He makes some fire memes.
Yeah, dude. 100%.
He's a potato snitch. He's an Irish bitch.
Oh
He's
my
a loser,
God.
T-Rubs. Don't waste your time on T-Rubs. He's a loser. You're like ruining your energy by even thinking about him. He's a loser. Like, you know, play your game maybe a little
That is
while longer,
amazing.
but after a while you'll realize he
is
has
so good.
infected you and you've become a bigger loser than him. Like, so,
Wow.
you know, you got to change it up eventually. You can't stay T-Rubs.
Yeah, these are pretty decent. Like, the memes he makes about me are really good.
I just saw the
one where he says, like, He should be able to like, hey, a master troll must be physically capable of trolling from everywhere, and it's just this image. Like, that is so good. That is actually really good. I like how he gets things that we're saying in spaces right now. It kind of riffs off of them. Like, this is a good resource. This is great. Do more of this, actually. Do more of this.
Yeah, he's really good at what he does, for sure.
Absolutely freaking amazing. Okay. Alright. Yeah, make more of those. Those are great. Unless Shamel says I lost track of the conversation, so have I. What else do we have here? Wait, how am I part of that? Joel Caldwell's asking me if I got Ashley Sinclair pregnant. Nope, I did not. I'm not Elon Musk. That is not what we do here.
Insinuating, yeah.
However, I out of Laura Cat lies. I want to Suraj also. I want to post the simple words of I don't pull out. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Why not? Gotta have more kids.
Let's
right?
go.
Let's do it.
I agree with that statement.
We do have a population crisis in Japan, everywhere.
Yeah, Korea.
Do not let me in Japan. That's a danger. The whole genealogy is going to end up being flip-flopped.
I used to say that too. I was like, don't let me into any country with a birth rate crisis.
I will instantly turn that around, but you're like, lose your identity. It's like a reverse merger, but one person actually wins.
The new Genghis Khan.
The new Genghis Khan, yes. I don't conquer things. I conquer things with my sword, but it's not the sword that you'd imagine.
Nice. Gross.
Yes. Not at all, man. Not at all, man. It's beautiful.
Sword fighting?
No, we don't do sword fighting. We do, however, do a lot of integrative, like vertical integration work. Depends on like the specific positioning, and like it can be vertical, but also somewhat parallel. Like horizontal actually. But it's more so vertical than, horizontal. All of the horizontal integration is most comfortable for that, which is going to be integrated, like take the integration. But then sometimes if you want to be a bit, have fun, then the vertical integration is better.
True that.
This sounds totally heterosexual.
Oh yes, yeah, really.
Sexual intercourse.
God, this is gonna be so bad. Like, imagine the people who are gonna like lose their minds about me posting this. It's gonna be so funny.
Did you see that?
I did that.
Did you see that? Pretty much all of Trump's picks got picked, except for
Yes.
except for Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, this is gonna be so bad. Like, imagine.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for Mitch McConnell, who voted
The
against
nominees?
everyone. Yeah.
Did Cash get through?
I don't think they've voted on him yet, but everyone else went through. And Mitch McConnell was the only person that voted against all of them.
Wow.
On the Republican side.
I just don't. I'm just I'd like to see a defined industrial policy for the United States, and if not that, a defined policy for international trade. Because I don't think we're having tariffs, we're not having tariffs. I think that's introducing too much uncertainty.
I think having flat tariffs makes more. I think having flat tariffs makes more sense than just tariffs on this country, not tariffs on this country.
Whatever we do, we need to have a little bit of stability to it. I understand that there's like a deal-making aspect, but whatever we do,
Tariffs
we need
are
to like
sometimes
decide.
necessary. Tariffs are sometimes necessary, especially if you've got countries like India who like put like high tariffs on like foreign products and then expect everyone to take it for free.
Right, but the current system, in theory, the idea of putting reciprocal tariffs is like a nice idea, but in practice, it doesn't work very well. Our own customs can't even figure out what the duties are when we import stuff based on our own customs and duty regime. It's impossible for our customs system to figure out, okay, this product is coming from India. What is their VAT? Were we to send them this product? And just the current thing that's proposed by Trump just doesn't really make any sense, and it needs clarity. So hopefully some stability in order for businesses to invest.
How's it going, everyone?
Hey, man. Saw you on the Republic TV thing. That's cool.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I love Adrian. Thank you, Adrian, for everything.
Thanks for the mention.
Absolutely, brother. Really appreciate you. Appreciate your spaces too.
Thank you.
So
Shit.
you don't pull out, huh?
By accident. Fuck.
That's pretty cool.
No. You didn't act.
I'm happy you don't pull out.
Who starts a conversation like that? But yes, I did post it, so that's my fault. But no, yeah, you actually can do it in this way where you don't have to, you don't actually trigger a pregnancy. It's possible.
Based.
Aldo, you want to explain it?
I know what you're talking
What?
about.
Wait, what?
Talking about timing the menstrual cycles.
The no need to pull out thing? Do you want to explain it?
Right. There's ways of tracking the cycle that are pretty accurate.
Which cycle? You have to dictome the whole thing. I want to explain it, but you'll explain it because you're the one that did it.
For sure,
Yeah.
please.
Go
What
ahead
do
and
you mean
explain
the one that did it?
It's really hard.
I'm trolling you so hard.
Hard
Just
to get
explain it.
pregnant 7 days after you menstruate and 7 days before, and so you don't have to pull out during that 14-day period. But it comes with risks. That's the idea, presumably.
Yep.
Yeah, because what if she doesn't
I tried
know
it,
her
it works.
cycle or something properly?
Or
You
she's
can
lying.
actually
Or she lied, yeah.
You can actually tell pretty well when a girl is about to be fertile or if she's already fertile using her vaginal mucus.
And so, yo, let me check your mucus. Hold on. Before I inside you, let me check that mucus. You put 2 fingers
lot
on
of-
you, put it on your tongue. You're like, all right.
A lot. Oh no.
No, my dude. Way too far. Again, like I said, you never solved your OCD problem. You just switched it.
Dude, you don't know enough about me to make comments like that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So basically, depending on the state that the vaginal mucus is in, it shows you whether she's fertile or not fertile or whatever. So if it's not okay, so I pulled out one.
I mean, you can also use another kind of mnemonic.
No,
If she
the
wants
period-
to have
the period-
sex with you, then she's probably fertile. If she doesn't,
Yeah.
she's less likely to be.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
Ish.
Ish.
Depends. It depends, you'd have to track it depends on the person, because, maybe you're always into it, you'd always want to do
Exactly.
it, which largely is a thing, unless, of course, you have physical fatigue from doing a lot of
It
it.
depends on how dead your bedroom is, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so basically, depending on the phase that it is in, and this is more a lot of apps, unfortunately, and a lot of apps use your period to track it, but the period is very inaccurate.
Ben Franklin had like an interesting take on it. He basically said that like if you wanted to get, I forget, like a mistress, like get a woman like in her early 40s because she should be more appreciative of it and much less likely to get pregnant.
Jesus fucking Christ.
By the way, I'm pretty sure what you just said is actually true.
Yeah, of course.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's so fucked up.
It's not fucked up at all. Why is that fucked up?
Alright, so
You shouldn't have mistresses.
okay, I just posted what I'm talking about. I just posted what I'm talking about in the purple pill. Alright. So based on that you can actually see.
Did you pin it up at the
Yeah.
top? You should like make your own version of it that's like easier explained. You know, like it's a simpler but more accurate way of explaining it. Like rewriting, I think.
What you're referring to. So, like, tell me about this mucus. What's, like, fertile mucus versus not fertile mucus like?
Just look at the fucking thing I pinned.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord. Yep, okay.
I guess that makes sense.
There you go.
Biology education only makes sense if you speak about it in a very technical sense.
Right, so
Because otherwise nobody's going to pay attention.
So, what do you think is happening between the two different fertile stages?
okay, so let me read this, right? So following menstruation, while it's dry and sticky, she's not ovulating. While it's creamy, increasing in amount as you approach ovulation. When it's wet and watery, you're getting close to ovulation. And when it's raw egg white, that's the fertile window just before and during ovulation.
If you don't pull out, she always ends up in the creamy phase, though.
Makes sense.
Adrian, you're not even getting under my skin anymore. You're just being beat.
Nah, I'm just like, okay.
I set you off when I told you that flu viruses and coronaviruses were totally different species, which they are.
What the fuck? Hang on. What kind of beer marketing is this? It's actually interesting. You can like tell. There's this thing I've noticed for like advertisements where they always use they use women for their advertising, and it's like, let's imagine you have a 1-to-1 video, like 1-to-1 ratio video. That's like the standard format as to how it's displayed, and then you were to just scrolling. That's the thing you're always going to pay attention to, and then you basically make sure that the cleavage is shown at the dead center of that, because that's where you're looking most of the time. You're not going to pay attention to the sides. You're going to be paying attention to the dead center of like that 1-to-1 ratio thing, and you can like basically have your product be held in that general area as well. So then you can see the product, but also the product obscures the subject enough for you to still see the product, but also notice the subject, which is the cleavage. I've seen this like a lot with marketing.
Do you think that actually causes sales to occur, or it's just a good way of creating attention?
Probably because attention.
Both, actually. I think like if memes are very effective. If you can somehow take the attention thing and turn that into money, then you basically have the ability to take memes and turn those into money also. But that's for advertising. Like, hey, let's do this.
Oh, what is your guys' opinion on touch typing?
On what?
Typing.
What do you mean touch typing?
So you know how you have like there's like a way of typing that's much faster, where you basically have all.
No, I type like I type.
Like steganography, like.
Wait, you
when
mean
do-
like knowing how to type?
No, what I mean is like you have like the people that use like one finger on each side, so they use like a finger on their left hand and then a finger on their right hand, and then they type using that. But they don't look at the keyboard. They can still type. But then there's like people that have it in like and then people have it in like the correct position where your like finger is on J and the other one is on K and L and
Yeah.
There's different keyboard layouts for
and
that too.
JKL semicolon.
I knew
Yeah.
this.
I learned to type using.
Yeah, but that's just normal. Okay, hold up a second. Everybody's getting mixed up. You're like taking normal keyboard and mixing touch keyboard together. It's like, you know, wait, what are we doing here?
that specific way of typing is called touch typing.
Touch typing on what platform? Desktop or phone?
Desktop.
Wait, so hang on a second. People use just like, They only use two fingers?
I'll tell you a story. It'll make sense of this. I knew Billy.
That's horrible.
Used to send really, really short emails, and I'm like, okay, this guy's really rich. I should like copy his like email technique, which were really short. I want to be Bill, whatever. Right? And then after, I eventually found out that he couldn't touch type. And so that's why he was getting really short emails. Because every time he needed to type an email, he'd bring out like two fingers and like look at the keyboard and be like, where's the letter O? Where's the letter K? And then period, and then hit enter. And so,
No, I just type how I type. I keep the positioning of my hands correct, and I reach every part of the key that I need, and I intuitively know where it is most of the time, so I don't have that situation you just described. So it's like, I guess if that's
like
what
older people to not
it's like
know
normal.
that and not know how to do it, and they have to learn.
I think it's like people who don't use that type of technology at all. That's like the issue. It's not just like age. Age is like the coincidence.
Yes, that's correct.
Like when I was in elementary school, we had typing classes and tests where you had to hit certain numbers of words per minute. Like if you couldn't do, I think like 70 words per minute, you had to keep doing it until you got better.
It's true.
I went to one of those schools that was very anti-tech. You know, the ones that are like no computers, no taking notes on computers. The fucking technology is gonna be done on paper.
That's like where school is headed now, anyways.
I still use paper, actually, a lot.
I know, but like I'm saying, like
Yeah, if you like do high like level information stuff, then doing stuff with a computer, then yeah, it makes sense. But like being completely anti-computer makes no sense. You have to do both, actually.
There's a paradox where millennials actually have better computer skills than Gen Z, because Gen Z was born into a world that had iPhones, so they never really had to use the computer and like troubleshoot things on a desktop.
Yeah.
Dreams come true. No fun.
All right, guys, I'm signing out. Later.
Later, Wilson.
Yeah. Later. I'm gonna eat another steak for some reason.
I just had one. It was delicious.
You know what's annoying? Like once you turn the video function, like once you don't turn it on in the space, you can't like turn it. So if you don't initially turn on like video space, you can't like, turn it on like now. It's like it doesn't do anything. It just stays the same.
It's annoying, yeah.
Oh, it has already begun. The one-shotting, like technological awareness. It's like part of the cognitive security, I think. And it's also becomes like operation. Because, hey, do you want to be one-shot by like AI-generated image and go like, yeah, this is 100% real, and like post an AI-generated image of fucking Jupiter? Thinking it's real, I see this actually quite a lot. I see a lot of accounts accidentally sharing AI-generated images. Now, granted, of course, it is. You can be forgiven for the mistake. But, damn.
It'll get community noted sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, but you don't want to rely on community
Yeah.
notes. You don't want to rely on any of that, actually. You want to be in a world where you don't need that. That's a big problem.
Do you guys know community notes is still not on Blue Sky or Mastodon?
Oh, really?
Doesn't surprise me, because literally everything that they say is false.
Right.
Wow.
Like, remember when they had, like, their own version of, like, how to, you know, censor content?
I didn't see that.
Because, you know, you have to do platform moderation, right? Instead of platform moderation. But then they did it by keywords. And so when you have all the lefties deny that this election of Donald Trump was real, they basically go, oh no, the election's not real, and get suspended.
Oh my god.
Because they were like, they didn't imagine that they'd be on the other end of that.
Wow.
Where it's like, hey, you have a bunch of people denying that the election of, like, Biden was real. And so then they go, oh, hey, you know, they say the election wasn't real, and then they get suspended, because, you know, back then that's what was the lefty agenda, was to suspend anyone who says that. And then now that remains, and so now you have the lefty guys that are saying, oh no, the election wasn't real, and now they get suspended from the same tools they created.
Wow.
So it's like, wow.
You gotta be careful.
You
What
know,
you
You've seen
damn.
entire subreddits. There's an entire subreddit dedicated to it.
To what?
Denying the 2024 election.
Wow, doesn't surprise me. I think they're, like, trying so hard to get the USAID funding back, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
You know, the first thing.
Like, we need to keep the thing going.
So, the first thing I saw today on Mastodon was the first line was the Democrats are saving the country and the Republicans are destroying the country. That's the first thing I saw on Mastodon. And then I was thinking, should I reply? And then
It sucks that
It's some bait.
It sucks that so many of the YouTubers I watch are now, okay, I'm moving to Mastodon, I'm deleting my ads.
Yeah. Like they got paid to say that or some shit.
And it's always the fucking Germans, man. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Wait, sorry, repeat that?
I said a bunch of the YouTubers I watch are like, I'm deleting my Twitter and moving to Mastodon or Blue Sky. And, like...
Because they're, like, captured.
Yeah, and a lot of them are German. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Turbo liberals, that's the problem.
yeah, Germany has a huge open source community. I think the lead developer of Mastodon is also from Germany.
But they don't go there because of the open source, they go there because of politics.
Right.
Because they believe that somehow their opinion is, like, supreme, I suppose.
Mastodon was literally created because the creator of Mastodon thought there wasn't enough censorship on Twitter. They thought that there wasn't enough moderation on Twitter.
That's retarded.
Right. So I mean, technically, what we could do
People
is
literally be like, moderate me harder, daddy.
It's like a kick or something.
Did not see that coming. I've never heard Suraj laugh like that before. That came out of nowhere. You can tell.
You didn't expect that. You didn't expect that.
I mean, I usually laugh, you know, when the mic is off, but I didn't expect that coming.
You can laugh with the mic on. That shit's great. Like, people should laugh more when the
True.
mic is on. It's a
People
great
wanna
thing.
hear, yeah, interaction.
Right. So, I mean, when it comes to censorship, I think you could host your own Mastodon instance and then, you know, do your own rules. That's one way. But then who's going to come to your server or, you know, talk to you? That's a problem.
Literally, yeah.
And then
I need to check.
there's Noster. Noster is possibly the most, you know, let's say uncensored protocol, but then it's a community full of Bitcoin maxis. There's almost nothing else I can actually see.
It's like when they tried to make Urbit work, but then it turned out that Urbit was a thing that you couldn't make work.
Yeah.
This is the problem with focusing on things being open source or like crypto related or shit like this, right? It like only attracts that community. You also need to make something that's actually good on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, I
That
think
can't- And that can't be the main selling point, basically.
Yep.
for me, I think the community is also important. Like, I want people, with diversity of thoughts. I don't want the same bunch of people who always think about Bitcoin or something else.
True. But the problem for me is, I think when you get into that thing where it's like, hey, we're gonna make our OS a fucking community to rally on, there's like a cult thing that comes with that, and you have to ask yourself, how productive is that cult to you? Generally, the open source cult is more so defined by the failing systems that they force themselves to use than the actual solutions they come up with to solve that problem.
I guess I'm part of the cult.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think it definitely keeps some aspects of, like knowledge alive, which are good. But it's just something that I cannot be fucked with. I can't fucking be bothered by it. Like, for instance, and I'm gonna say something which we had like a fight about even in DMs. I'm not gonna use Linux for video gaming because I just don't give a rat's ass.
You want the best.
I'm also not gonna use Linux for my work. I hate Windows. I fucking hate it. It is a piece of fucking dog shit. And one day, because the Steam Deck forces it this way, because there has to be like Linux integration for video games, one day when that shit is done better, then I'll switch over. Because for now, okay, you're part of the fight. I'm not joining the war. I'm sorry. I can't be bothered with that, unfortunately.
No, that's fair enough, but what game are you playing?
I'd be playing something like, Halo Infinite or,
Okay. Because recently I have heard from a lot of Linux users saying Minecraft works really well.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna play Minecraft because I'm bored. I don't wanna... I'm doing mining in real life, but like with yeah. Like information.
Yeah, I think when it comes to gaming, it's really hard to beat Microsoft because Microsoft is literally investing billions and billions of dollars. I mean, they also acquired Xbox, right? So it's very, very hard for the open source community to beat Microsoft.
This is also one of the this is one of those things that keeps tech companies in power for quite a long time. They make things proprietary. So, or like the only thing that it's like one of those things, yeah, actually proprietary and ubiquitous even. Where, back then you'd use Intel for all your shit and your server infrastructure, now you don't. But like use different programming language.
Well, I mean, this is not...
And this is with like Intel, they lost their relevance as well because they had this piece of shit system for like how to actually use the hardware that didn't work out, and that NVIDIA has the same problem, but they still have pretty good hardware, so that NVIDIA CUDA driver problem is not an issue anymore necessarily because the performance is so good, but they're going to reach a point where CUDA is going to be the thing where everybody goes and looks at it and says, do I actually need to do this? Is there like a better way? And then you'll look for alternatives where you're not forced to use this garbage language. And it is a piece of garbage. I'm sorry to say. Like, I see a future for that because it's just you don't have a choice. But when you do have a choice eventually, then NVIDIA is going to go the way of Intel, and then someone else is going to like take their place, unless they fix whatever issues they have right now, which I don't think they can, unless they keep making their computers more powerful. But then that's what Apple has recognized also. Apple is actually playing it very smart, I think. They do this thing where they say we Apple intelligence, but they don't actually create the intelligence part from the perspective of creating the data, but they do create the brains. They have really good chips. I mean, look, like you can say, okay, from the perspective of the laptops or whatever equipment you'd be using from them, even the phones, you could tell that that's very good technology.
I mean, the kind of hardware optimization Mac offers, I don't think anyone else offers, right?
That is the problem.
Mac,
right?
Mac,
So you can't actually
Mac
like
is probably the great. Well, when they were using Apple, no, when Apple was using Intel, MacBooks and Macs in general were complete horse shit. It was a terrible fucking investment. It was terrible. But now that they came out with their own chips, it is by far the absolute best investment you can make.
Yep.
Because guess what? Let's say you want to run a local LLM, right? A lot of people make this comparison and they're like, oh, I can buy 128 gigabytes of RAM for this much. You're not going to get the same performance. And B, that is RAM that you can use to run the fucking LLM. You can't use RAM to run the LLM locally because you also need that much in VRAM. So because of the unified RAM, you can use it as both VRAM and RAM, and you get better performance.
I was just about to say that.
So unironically, as of now, a MacBook gives you the absolute best performance money can buy. And it would probably crush most GPUs and most Windows PCs in gaming if the games were available on Mac.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Wait, do you think it also crushes the NVIDIA GPUs?
Wait, what?
Do you think the Apple M chips are crushing NVIDIA?
On what? On AI or gaming?
Gaming.
On gaming, I think they could actually, yeah.
They could, but it's just that the games are not optimized for that, so that's another problem.
Companies generally do not make games for Apple.
Exactly.
Because you don't buy Apple if you want to do gaming. You buy Apple because you can afford it and because you want to do work.
Well, at this point, it's not even about affording it. Like
it's just more about work.
MacBook is like the best computer you can buy for any price range now.
Yes. I'm actually considering buying one that's like fully fleshed out and has like all the best bells and whistles on it, and just like putting the whole NVIDIA 50 series on cold and putting it to chill because it's still too hot right now. And your computer pre-builds and whatever is coming out is like at a price, hey, $6,000, but it's all sold out like $5,000.
Also, none of the good companies have come out with it yet. It's all like MSI and shit, which is decent, but still like you want like the options to be better for the pre-builds first, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense to ape in now.
Also,
it's like the FOMO thing, and you definitely are going to miss out, but
something else.
It makes sense to get it later.
A lot of game developers have said, actually, that making games for Mac is probably one of the most painful experiences possible. Like, it's much easier. It's much easier to make a game for Windows or to make a game for Linux. So they're like it's easier to launch a game on Linux. Why the fuck would I launch a game on a Mac?
Exactly.
Because
it's like if I do get one of those, I'm not going to get it because I want a game, but because I want to do more work better. And I also think like a lot of the software is optimized for Macs in general. iOS in general.
Mac OS.
Like look at X and look at those. Yeah, like Mac OS. Sorry, Mac OS.
Yeah.
Because it's the same example with like your usage on phones, right? You know, the money is in anyone who uses the iOS, for instance. Like, you imagine it this way, I think.
Yeah.
You look at, say, 80% of the worldwide users for, like, X.com, like, for like, 80% of users for, like, X.com are worldwide. If that number hasn't changed, it's like Android. But, like, in America specifically, number is literally inverted, where the majority is iOS and the minority is Android.
Also,
and, of course, the minority of that still is desktop.
Also, Apple users generally spend more money.
Exactly, that was the next point I was going to get into. Because it makes much more sense this way.
Apple, I saw like some big game company. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was Supercell or something. But they literally said that 80% of our income comes from Apple users' transactions, despite Android users making up a larger portion of people who download our game and play our game.
Yep, there are a lot more Android gamers, but they don't spend money like Apple
Exactly.
do. And Apple has its stupid tax. It's total bullshit.
Well, Google has it too.
Google also has the tax. 30%
Yeah.
is also for Google.
Both of them are too. By the way, it's 30%. It's 30% for single purchase. If you get a subscription, it's 15%.
Thanks for sharing.
But Android has side loading, right? Like there are alternative marketplaces. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do side loading. Apple has it in the EU, but that's about it.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah. I mean,
It's funny, by the way. Apple had to approve a porn app because they were legally forced to by the EU.
What the fuck?
I'm serious. So a porn app published on the Epic Game Store, I think, in the EU, right? But because of the way iOS works, it has to be first approved and scanned for viruses by Apple. So Apple had to literally like fucking approve it, because if they didn't, the European Commission would go after them. And then the app turned around, and it was like the first porn app approved by Apple. And then Apple had to fucking release a statement being like, we do not support this. This goes against everything our product wants. We hate this product. We don't want to allow it, but we're being forced by EU law.
Wow. Due to our regulations, we had to do this thing. What is that? Approve porn.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Mandatory porn.
Mandatory porn. Wow.
Actually, it's no longer suggested. It is compelled.
Yeah, so this is
It's like when you have the compelled speech is so interesting.
We are deeply concerned about the safety risks that hardcore porn apps of this type create for EU users, especially kids. This app and others like it will undermine consumer trust and confidence in our ecosystem that we have worked for more than a decade to make the best in the world. Contrary to the false statements made by the marketplace developer, we certainly do not approve of this app and would never offer it in our app store. The truth is that we are required by the European Commission to allow it to be distributed by marketplace operators like AltStore and Epic, who may not share our concerns for user safety.
It's wild. You know what I think they should do? They should put it in the store, but then replace the icon with a bonk go directly to horny jail meme.
That'd be good.
That joke's topical.
In the marketing for the app, it referred to the app as the first Apple-approved porn app.
Wow, that is insane. Wild that that's like true. That's crazy.
Weird. It's laws just don't make sense sometimes, right? It's weird.
Yeah.
The EU literally told Apple they need to have mandatory porn.
Wild.
I will say I like Apple for doing that, though, to be honest.
So did they remove it, or is it still up?
No, it's not. It's not on the App Store. They have to approve it before it can even run on the iPhone.
I see.
Because of the way that iOS is built. it has to be approved by Apple to even run on the iPhone. Because Apple checks for viruses and shit like that.
You know, along those lines, I do think that there are very real security risks from like using porn in a browser that can be mitigated with the kind of security checks that come with app approval.
So using the browser is much better, but I would still try and use it from a VM maybe, because most of the porn websites and other kinds of distribution mediums, they have a bunch of viruses and malwares everywhere. So I would be very careful in navigating through those mediums. The same goes for torrents, right? So people love free stuff, but we don't know who is distributing this stuff. How do you even trust these people? So I would be very careful.
Yeah, I mean, when the porn is compulsory, you better use protection.
I never use protection.
It's so good.
What?
Oh my god. I mean, yeah. If you trust what you're entering, you don't need to. If you trust what you're entering or what enters you, you don't need to be worried about that.
Yeah, but you don't know where that's been.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
The Molson effect is strong.
that's horrible.
By the way, this
We're
reminds
bringing
me
the vibes back.
This reminds me of a post I saw today. I'm gonna send it.
Everything reminds me of her.
I'm gonna send it to the group chat.
Alright.
What the fuck was her name? God damn it.
Is this about the Apple App Store?
No. It's a post on X I saw. It's pretty funny.
Outa, by the way, I'm almost done reading the thing you sent me. I should be done by tonight or maybe tomorrow.
Okay, we'll talk about it then.
Out of check signal. Like base department. Alright, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, there you go.
Welcome. Above the side layer.
One more layer complete.
Yes. Dude, look at this.
Try that one. He's looking very sick about
By the
it.
way-
Yeah.
Yes, by the way, Suraj, just like FYI, what's like in chat stays in, so it's like there's no Yeah,
we don't.
like there's no cross-pollination.
We
That's
don't,
it's
we
the
don't send screenshots. We don't do anything. None of that in that group chat.
yeah. It's like a black hole. Think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's
OPSEC,
the
don't-
basic consensus, right? Of the previous chat too. I mean, that's the consensus we usually have for all groups, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
no
this
cross-pollination.
one is even more private.
Yes.
Yeah, look at this one. Okay, so this is what I was looking for.
my god! Wow! Wow!
Dude, what the fuck? Wow.
Out of the two, option 2 is like the more honest one.
I agree.
That's fine.
At least she's on it.
At least you know what you're buying, type of thing. You know, it's like, you know, when you get into a thing and you like look at what the services are, it's like, oh yeah, you got this, but then there's like the null pointer exception somewhere. It's like, what? You discover that later, you know?
Yeah, definitely number 2.
Yeah.
Yo guys, check out what I'm about to say.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, everybody's like getting okay. You remember like the Animatrix? There's like this one scene where it's the machines trying to mine humans for energy, and the way they do it is by like getting reactions out of them.
Yes.
And so basically, it's like this. We live in this now.
Yeah.
So we're the ones that are doing this. We're sitting here and we're laughing, and everybody else is like seeing it.
Exactly.
Or like hearing it actually. So it's like we're reaction mining. We're being poked, but nobody can see what's poking us. Like what the impact of the poke is. You know what I'm saying? Like
We think no one.
it is a thing.
I don't know though.
I mean, memes have like this effect where the poking can be done by other people of our brains. So it's possible. I think the space has kind of run its course. I think we should shut it down and like return again tomorrow. And like tomorrow, keep it with like I think more of a value curation, really, because I think it was kind of shit. But it was great to be back, and I think many people enjoyed it, and I think they found it funny. I may do like a subscribers only space also, like in between, just for fun. But yeah.
Cool.
All right. See you guys. Thank you for coming. This is amazing. See you again tomorrow.
Good night.